Hello, sweet sewing friends. It has been a minute. I looked up this morning when my last video posted. I knew it'd been a long time. It was 105 days ago. What was I doing for 105 days? Well, it was November 20th, and immediately right after that, my season kind of slowed down. So I took some time off to be with my family for the holidays and go through all the holiday stuff. And then January, I actually ended up flying to my sister's in Louisiana because her son, my nephew, was getting married. And so that was a couple weeks of preparation. We have animals, dog, cats, the house, parents, all the things, so much preparation just to be gone we were gone a little over a week. So we were having to prepare and then be gone for the wedding. And then, believe it or not, we got snowed in in Louisiana. Woo! It's deeper than I thought.
Yep.
Well, we are out here in Louisiana.
Doesn't look like it.
Looks like Idaho, but in this beautiful Airbnb. Has a beautiful stained glass right here, and across from us, let me show you, is a really cool church. And the thing is, we are from Idaho, and this is our normal weather. But we did not bring winter clothing, except for, thank God, I brought my scarf for the plane rides. We are on a trip for my nephew's wedding, and usually, actually a couple weeks ago, it was 80 degrees here in Louisiana, and they maybe every 6 or 7 years get a skiff of snow.
But nothing like this.
But this is quite deep. From Idaho, where we weren't getting any snow, going all the way to Louisiana and thinking we're going to get into some warm weather, go tour some gardens, which at the beginning of the trip, we toured the Tabasco factory, and it was beautiful. A little cooler than normal. And then all of a sudden the cold front moved in, and right after the wedding, it got super cold, and they got 9 inches of snow in a place that never gets snow. And of course, it was on the day that we were supposed to fly out. So it took us about another 2.5 days to try to get ourselves home because they shut down all the airports. But that's a side note. And then it was coming back and trying to get back into the swing of things. And then we're like, okay, February, I got to start my bridal season and get going. And it took me a minute to get myself up and going. And I'm going to tell you, here's another thing I wanted to talk about in this video. It is burnout. We've all experienced it. If you have been in the sewing world, if you've been in the bridal world at all, you have experienced it. It's that feeling of just exhaustion. Your mind gets a little cloudy, especially at the end of a long bridal season, or you're sewing and sewing and sewing, and you put in so many hours on these gowns. You start to question your life choices about midsummer, and the fall is usually a big push because there's so many fall weddings. So usually that little time of rest for the holidays is so good, and I come back in January refreshed, ready to go, and kind of marching forward. And since I owned a bridal shop for 16 years or a little longer, and then did bridal before that in alterations, I'm used to January being that where we would have the bridal expo. And so really, like, as soon as the new year hits, you are geared up to just get out there and get your name out there, get your brides booked. And so I was used to that mode, and I was just thinking about this the other day. I have been sewing and altering gowns nonstop probably since 2002, 2003. I did it like lightly before that, but somewhere in there I started doing alterations out of my home, and then I ended up in a shop, and then ended up turning it into a bridal shop where I also had other seamstresses, but I seem to always be sewing. And then I retired from retail and moved here home to do alterations out of my home studio. And it's been, I think, 4 years now, this March 31st. Actually, yeah, we're in March. I was like, what month are we in? That's how crazy this year has been. We are in March, and at the end of this month, it will be the official 4-year mark that I've been in this studio. And this is something I've never experienced, but I got fatigue and burnout entering, like it never left me. And I don't know if that's because I was traveling, because I had more to do during the holidays and I didn't rest. I don't know, but I dreaded coming back. And I came in here to do I did a few alterations already this in February. I've already done a few. I've done some for some balls and prom and a wedding, but I didn't do much. But I would come in here and I would just feel this dread, and I felt like everything was dirty and like I hadn't had a chance to really do a deep clean. So I actually moved my whole area around. We're gonna see if it works. I'll take you around and show you. Tell me in the comments, do you get that burnout? Have you gotten to the point where you get burnout just thinking about coming back? And what can you do to kind of refresh yourself? Last week, I changed everything around. I cleaned and vacuumed behind every piece of furniture, cleaned the blinds, cleaned the windows, moved everything around so it felt fresh and new. And I feel like this week, I'm excited to be in here again. I want to see how this little area works. I'll walk you around and show you that. I'm hoping it works. It's kind of, I didn't move any pictures on the walls or anything because I want to sit with it for maybe a month or so and see how it works. But anyways, let me take you around, but tell me in the comments, how has been burnout the last couple of years for you, and how's your season going? Getting right back into it. Let me take you around. First, I want to kind of switch everything around. Yesterday I had a bunch of bridal appointments, so this is set up right now for brides. Maybe I should take you around and show you how I have it set up for brides, and then I'm going to pull everything back out so that I can sew. That's another thing we need to talk about. How do you transfer your room from having enough room for the bride to spread out with her long train, see herself, plus she usually brings some people with her, leave her enough room for walking around, and then leave yourself enough room to spread out the gowns and everything and sew. That's what I'm trying to figure out. My last setup worked for 4 years, but you know, I've moved it a few little times, but this one's going to be a little more dramatic, and we're going to see if this works. So let me show you around. Okay, so the first thing you see when you walk in the door is I have moved this couch and stuff. I've moved it a few places. Excuse the light and tripod, but this mirror I actually used to have about here. Then I've moved it over here. So this couch has actually been here, then it's been here, and then I've also had it at one point over here. The problem is that the mini split blows straight here, and so you can't really sit over here to sew or to have any customers there, because especially in the air conditioning of the summer. But then these little cabinets were pushed together, and they were right here as well. So this is kind of my setup when I have a bride right now. I used to have these desks up against this wall here, and it worked for quite a few years, but I am going to try this to see if I can have the two desks put together and have more space for the big old dresses. And usually I'll also put a table here. You'll see that. But I like to have them have enough room to come, out of the dressing room. And I also tuck in all of my racks and my steamer, everything back in here, just because to get it out of the way for the bride. But I'm going to pull all of that out right now. I also usually will pull the blinds to the point where I'll kind of turn them so that view is distracted for people just seeing in to see that bride. Okay, let me switch it from being customer mode to sewing mode. So as you can see, I'm not sure how this table being out here, it did work all day. The last week I've been meeting brides and there was enough room to walk out here and come out. But I don't know how my steaming area is going to work. So I have a fan up here and a switch on the wall, and I have hooks up there, and I usually hang them here. So I might have to end up moving that to steam gowns. I'm not sure. This is all new. And then I usually will set up my iron, and this table helps me hold gowns when I'm sewing and also gives me a workspace. Then I've got this rack of dresses here, but then whatever I'm currently working on, I usually have on the rack there. So we will see how this works. Okay, and this is the area that I wasn't sure about. I put my mirror here in the corner. I am going to probably have my hubby build something to lift it up a little bit and straighten it and make it more secure on the wall. And I didn't go ahead and move the pictures here. I'll probably move that over a little bit, move those pictures underneath there. Something, I don't know. But I don't want to move anything until I've worked with it for about a month. So we're in temporary mode right now. But so there's that. Okay, and there's the other thing is, when the customers are here, I don't want a lot of people looking in, although I have a very private backyard. But just in case, I want to make sure they don't feel insecure. But when I am here, I want to look out. And right now it's raining and I've got some squirrels eating some peanuts out there and stuff. And so I love to kind of look outside while I'm sewing. Okay, and one other thing is that I am able to do that switcheroo with the room because I am trying to only meet all of my customers one day a week. So I'll pick a day of the week, and I usually do Thursday, but I will do either Thursday or Wednesday, but whatever bride already has an appointment on either Thursday or Wednesday, I lock in that day for that week, and so all other appointments have to be on that day. Now this week I did meet people 2 days during the week, only because we had a last minute a gal who had to push her time from last month to this month, and I was also trying to push a bunch of people more to March because I was like, I just want to really get going in March. So anyway, this week I did break my rule, and I had 2 different days that I was meeting brides. But usually I want to sew 4 days of the week, and so I can make a mess, stretch out, don't have to worry about a customer coming in the midst of it while I'm in the middle of working, and then I sew the 4 days and meet the brides for their fittings on 1 day a week, and I'll do anywhere from morning till evening, so it's a long day on those days, but it works. Well, it's been a week and I never signed off on my video, so I was editing it today and realized I don't have an ending to this video. So I came back in the studio and I wanted to show you that I have switched up things a little bit. I sewed all last week with my machine on that side and my serger on this side, which had more room back here, but I didn't have as much room with my gown off to the side, and here I can actually, when I have that table set up, I can spread it completely out, and so I've liked this a lot better. I'm back to having it set up for a bride coming, actually 2 brides coming later today. And so everything's back in here and tight, but when I am sewing, all of this is kind of free space back here because I move it out. But I wanted to come back on and sign this video off, but can we talk about burnout again? Because it's been another week, and I've been in here sewing and doing pretty good, but still feeling that little bit of lag or that burnout, and I've never experienced it at the beginning of the year. So tell me in the comments. I would love to hear your discussions on, what you do to eliminate burnout, what kind of remedies help. Maybe the fact that soon the sun is going to be returning to my part of the world, which might help things a little bit to have a little sunshine. But also, sometimes, let's just say it like it is, this world is getting harder and harder, and there's a lot of stressful things out there. There's some things that are hard to stay positive and cheery all the time. And so what do you do in order to stay in that positive frame to meet the brides and all their expectations? I've done it year after year after year. I've been through recessions. I've been through COVID with a bridal shop that shut everything down. I have been through so many things and been fine. It's been rough, but fine. And this year, it just seems like I'm lagging, trying to get back up and going. But I think that if I just get enough brides going, I will be back in the swing of things, because I will tell you that as soon as I meet with my brides and I see their happy faces, it means the world to me. It just makes me so happy when I see a bride who did not feel secure in her dress, didn't feel beautiful, and then when we come in and we take it in and we alter it just to her body and she feels like a beautiful bride, that is just the best feeling in the world. I remember one particular bride. I have hundreds of them in my mind, but there's one that has stuck with me all these years, and she was a bride that she was a little difficult, and no matter which way what we did, we kept taking it in. We changed some things in the neckline, and all of a sudden we got it dialed in, and she looked in the mirror on her last fitting and she just started crying. And she says, "This is the first time I feel like a real bride." See, she was plus size, and her image of what a bride should look like probably matched a magazine cover, or nowadays Instagram reel. And when she saw herself in the mirror, she didn't see that image that she wanted to portray. But she was beautiful, she was gorgeous, and she just wasn't fitting the image she had in her mind. But when we just did a few little tweaks and we catered a few things to her, that just made her come alive, and it just brought tears to her eyes and to mine, that she finally felt like a real bride. And so maybe that is my remedy for a little bit of burnout, is as I'm meeting with 2 more brides tonight, just seeing the transformation, just seeing their happiness on their face, I think that is going to get me right back out of it, at least until I get to mid-season, and then then it's a little exhausting. But anyways, I would love to chat with you. What is it in real life that you're struggling with? What do you struggle with that causes burnout? What do you do to remedy burnout? Chat with us, and let's all come up with solutions together and help each other out and cheer each other on to another great bridal season. Okay, so I will see you in the next video. I do have some really good videos planned. I'm excited to get them going, and I will see you soon. Love you all, and happy sewing. Bye-bye.